Mia wiped the sweat from her forehead as she leaned over the hood of a broken-down car. Her hands were covered in grease and her overalls had more stains than fabric left clean. She had always loved machines ever since she was a child. When other kids played with toys, she took apart old radios, bicycles, and even lawnmowers, just to see how they worked. Her mother often said that Mia's hands had magic. And today, sitting in the small garage at the edge of town, Mia felt that magic again. Her garage was not fancy. The walls were made of old metal sheets patched together, and the roof leaked when it rained. Tools hung on hooks, some missing handles, some worn and scratched from years of use. But to Mia, it was perfect. Each tool had a memory, a story, a purpose. She moved from one car to another, checking engines, tightening bolts, and listening to the rhythm of motors. To anyone else, it looked like chaos. To Mia, it was music. Despite her talent, life had been hard. She had just enough money to buy food and pay rent for the small apartment she shared with her cat Nutmeg. Every day was a struggle, but Mia never complained. She believed that one day, her skills would take her far away from this small town, far beyond the limits she had always known. One evening, while finishing a small repair for a customer, Mia overheard a conversation that would change her life. Two men were talking about a junkyard on the outskirts of town. It was full of old vehicles, mostly rusted beyond repair, but sometimes rare machines ended up there. One of the men laughed. "Who would want that old RV? It's falling apart. No one could fix it, even if they had 100 hands." Mia's ears perked up. She had always dreamed of owning a vehicle she could travel in, one she could fix and make her own. The thought of an RV had filled her imagination for years. She pictured herself driving it across deserts, forests, and mountains, seeing places she had only read about in books. That night she could not sleep. The idea of the RV haunted her mind, filling her dreams with images of adventure. The next morning she counted her money. There was only $1 left in her wallet. Not much to buy anything, but Mia believed that sometimes courage was more important than money. She grabbed her coat, her tool bag, and walked to the junkyard, her heart pounding with excitement. The junkyard was enormous. Rusted cars, broken trucks, and shattered machines were stacked like mountains. The air smelled of oil, metal, and dust. Mia wandered between the piles, searching for the RV she had heard about. And there it was. The RV was worse than she had imagined. Rust covered the sides like a brown-orange blanket. The tires were flat, the windows cracked, and the door hung loosely from one hinge. It looked abandoned for years. Most people would have turned away, but Mia felt a spark of hope. She ran her hand along the side of the RV. It was rough, cold, and brittle in some places, yet she could feel its potential. Mia approached the junkyard owner, a tall man with a bushy beard and a grumpy expression. "How much for the RV?" she asked, her voice steady. The man laughed, showing yellowed teeth. "For you? $100. That's a deal because it's practically junk." Mia hesitated. She only had $1. The man noticed her nervousness and sneered. "You really want it? You can't even pay me enough. It's worthless." Mia's eyes did not leave the RV. She thought of all the nights she had spent imagining adventures, of all the machines she had brought back to life with her hands. "Please," she said quietly. "I'll take it for $1. The man stared at her. $1 was almost nothing. He shrugged, thinking she would fail anyway. "Fine, $1, he said. He handed her a paper, signed it, and the RV was hers. Mia could hardly believe it. She had the RV. It was hers to fix, hers to explore, hers to turn into a dream machine. She hugged the RV gently, as if it were a friend who had been waiting for her all along. The next days were filled with work. Mia rolled up her sleeves and got to work immediately. She cleaned the rusted exterior, scrubbed the inside until it smelled fresh, and organized the scattered parts that littered the floor. She examined the engine. It was old, but she could see the gears, wires, and pistons waiting to move again. She worked late into the night, guided by flashlight beams and the hum of her own determination. Her neighbors came by to watch. They had never seen someone so determined to fix what seemed impossible. "Why waste your time on that old thing?" one of them asked. "It's broken. You can't fix it." Mia smiled, wiping grease from her hands. "I can, I will. It just needs care, attention, and belief." Night after night, Mia tinkered with the RV. She replaced broken wires, tightened loose bolts, and painted parts that could be saved. She even fixed the small kitchen inside, making it clean and functional. Slowly, the RV started to feel alive. Mia talked to it sometimes jokingly, sometimes seriously, as if encouraging it to wake up. One evening, she sat inside the RV, listening to the engine quietly hum. She placed her hands on the steering wheel. "I promise you," she whispered, "I will take you places no one has ever gone before." The RV seemed to respond. A small light on the dashboard flickered, almost like a heartbeat. Mia blinked, not believing what she saw. Perhaps it was the excitement, or perhaps the RV was truly waking up. Mia worked through weeks, facing challenges she had never faced before. Some parts were missing, some bolts were stuck, and the RV often refused to start. But she never gave up. Her hands, guided by experience and intuition, found solutions. Sometimes, she had to invent tools to reach places that seemed impossible. She studied manuals, schematics, and old machine diagrams, learning things that had been forgotten by time. As she worked, Mia realized something. This RV was not just a machine. It was a symbol of hope, of perseverance, and of human skill. Every scratch she removed, every wire she replaced, every bolt she tightened, was a step towards something greater. She was not just fixing a vehicle. She was proving that humans could bring life back to the broken, create beauty from decay, and make miracles happen with their own hands. One morning, as the sun rose, painting the sky with orange and pink, Mia turned the key in the ignition. The RV shuddered. She held her breath. Then slowly the engine roared to life. Smoke puffed from the exhaust, lights flickered on the dashboard, and the RV seemed to breathe. Mia laughed, a sound full of joy and relief. She had done it. Against all odds, with only $1 and her own determination, she had revived the rusted RV. That day, Mia drove the RV around the empty streets of her town. People stopped and stared. Children ran after it, laughing. Adults shook their heads in disbelief. The RV was no longer just a rusted relic. It was alive, moving, and full of promise. Mia felt proud. She knew that this was just the beginning. The RV had been waiting for someone like her, and she had been waiting for a chance like this. As night fell, Mia parked the RV on a hill overlooking the town. She climbed inside, sat in the driver's seat, and looked at the stars. She imagined herself traveling to distant planets, meeting new civilizations, and using her skills to help others. The RV was ready. She was ready. For the first time in her life, Mia felt truly limitless. She had $1, a rusted RV, and a dream. And now she had something more. She had hope, courage, and the knowledge that humans could accomplish incredible things when they refused to give up. That night, as the wind whispered through the trees and the stars shone brightly above, Mia closed her eyes. She smiled, knowing that the adventure of a lifetime was about to begin. The rusted RV, her faithful companion, seemed to hum softly beneath her. It was as if it was telling her that it believed in her too. Mia whispered one last promise before sleep took her. Tomorrow we go beyond what anyone has ever imagined. Tomorrow we start our journey. The morning sun spilled over the horizon as Mia opened the RV's door. The first rays of light hit the freshly polished dashboard, reflecting a tiny rainbow across the cabin. Her hands itched to start working again. The RV had awakened yesterday, but Mia knew there was more to discover. Something about this machine was unusual, and she could feel it deep in her bones. Mia sat in the driver's seat, her fingers brushing over the worn steering wheel. She had spent weeks repairing it, fixing wires, replacing worn parts, and cleaning every corner. She had never seen a machine react the way this RV did. It had started as a rusted, lifeless shell, yet now it seemed almost alive. Every hum, every flicker of light felt purposeful. She pressed the ignition key and the engine purred like a cat stretching in the sun. The dashboard lights blinked in a pattern she had never seen before. Mia frowned and leaned closer. The display showed strange symbols that looked like circuits and stars combined. She had studied dozens of machines, but this was unlike anything she had ever encountered. Her curiosity flared. She pulled out her notebook and began sketching the symbols, trying to understand their pattern. The RV seemed to respond to her attention. When she drew the symbols correctly, the dashboard lights glowed brighter. When she paused, they dimmed slightly. It was as if the RV was communicating with her. Mia felt a shiver of excitement. Machines did not usually have personalities. They did not respond to touch, to careful observation, to human intention. Yet here was something extraordinary. The RV was teaching her, guiding her, waiting for her to unlock its potential. She decided to experiment. Mia pressed a button she had never noticed before, a small round knob hidden beneath the dashboard. Immediately, a soft hum filled the cabin and the air seemed warmer. The RV vibrated gently as if stretching after a long sleep. Small lights traced paths along the dashboard, forming shapes she had never seen. The hum grew louder, resonating through her chest. It felt alive, almost breathing. Mia stepped back, amazed. She had repaired many vehicles, but none had ever behaved like this. She touched the steering wheel again, and the hum softened as if responding to her presence. She whispered, "I don't know what you are, but I will learn." The RV seemed to answer with a single bright flash of light. She spent hours exploring every function of the RV. She opened hidden panels, discovering wires that glowed faintly, gears that moved without power, and circuits that hummed with energy. Her mechanical knowledge helped her understand part of it, but there were parts that seemed almost magical, or at least beyond what she knew. Mia realized that the RV was not just a vehicle. It had a core energy source that was alive in some way. It responded to attention, care, and understanding. She had restored the physical parts, but the soul of the machine was something else entirely. She had to be patient, careful, and precise. One evening, as she worked under the dim glow of a lamp, Mia noticed something even stranger. She connected a small solar generator she had in the garage to the RV's power system. The lights on the dashboard flickered, then glowed steadily. The hum of the RV changed, becoming rhythmic, almost musical. Mia tapped the controls gently. The dashboard lights pulsed in harmony with her touch. Suddenly, a small panel on the side of the dashboard opened, revealing a crystal-like object. It glowed softly with a blue light. Mia's eyes widened. She had never seen anything like it. The crystal seemed to vibrate with energy, filling the cabin with warmth and light. When she held it in her hand, she could feel the power coursing through her fingers. Mia spent the next day studying the crystal. She realized it was connected to the RV in a way she could not fully understand. When she placed it back into the panel, the RV hummed stronger, lights glowed brighter, and the engine ran smoother. It was as if the crystal was the heart of the machine, the source of its energy and its awakening. Curiosity gave way to courage. Mia decided to take the RV for a drive. The roads near her town were empty in the early morning. She started the engine, feeling the familiar hum vibrate through her hands. She pressed her foot on the pedal and the RV moved forward smoothly, faster than she expected. It handled turns like a dream, responding to every movement with precision. As she drove through the outskirts of the town, Mia noticed something remarkable. The RV seemed to hover slightly above the ground. At first, she thought it was a trick of her imagination. Then she pressed the accelerator more firmly, and the RV lifted a few inches into the air. Her heart raced. She had restored a vehicle, but this was beyond restoration. It could fly. Mia's mind raced with possibilities. If the RV could hover, what else could it do? She pressed another button she had discovered earlier. The dashboard lights flared and the RV floated higher. Trees and buildings became smaller below her. She looked around in awe. The RV was no longer constrained by the ground. She tested the controls carefully. Forward, backward, left, right. The RV moved as easily in the air as it did on the ground. The hum changed tone depending on the speed. It felt alive, intuitive, and aware of her intentions. Mia realized that this vehicle was extraordinary, unlike anything humanity had ever created. Excitement mixed with responsibility. Mia knew she had discovered something incredible, something that could change the way humans traveled. But she also understood that it required care, respect, and skill. The RV was a partner, not just a machine. It responded to attention, to knowledge, to intuition. She had to earn its trust. Over the next few days, Mia conducted small experiments. She learned how the RV responded to light, sound, and touch. She discovered hidden compartments filled with tools, maps, and star charts. The more she explored, the more she understood that this was no ordinary vehicle. It was designed to travel beyond Earth, to explore worlds humans had never reached. Mia felt a mixture of fear and excitement. She had always dreamed of traveling the stars. But now, with the RV awakened and alive, her dream was closer than ever. She thought of her small town, of the people who had doubted her, of the machines she had repaired. Everything had led to this moment. She knew she had to prepare carefully. Traveling beyond Earth was not simple. She gathered supplies, food, water, and tools. She learned about the planets and stars she might encounter. She studied navigation, energy systems, and mechanical repairs. She was determined to be ready for anything, to use her skills to keep the RV alive and functional in the unknown. One night, as she sat inside the RV, Mia looked at the crystal glowing softly on the dashboard. It filled the cabin with calm, steady light. She reached out and touched it. The RV vibrated gently, almost as if it was breathing. She whispered, "Tomorrow we take the next step. Tomorrow we see what you can really do." Sleep came easily that night with dreams full of stars and distant planets. She imagined herself flying through space, helping civilizations, repairing machines that no one else could fix, and exploring worlds that no human had ever seen. The RV was not just a machine. It was a miracle born from her determination, skill, and belief. When morning came, Mia woke with excitement. She stepped into the cabin, touched the crystal, and started the engine. The RV hummed, lights pulsing rhythmically, responding to her presence. She pressed the controls and the RV rose into the air smoothly, higher and higher until the town below looked tiny like toys scattered on the ground. Mia smiled. She had unlocked something extraordinary. Her hands had repaired the rusted shell, her mind had understood its systems, and her courage had awakened its power. The RV was alive, and together they could achieve incredible things. For the first time, she felt the true weight of possibility. Humans could create, repair, and awaken machines in ways no one imagined, and Mia was proof of that. Her determination, skill, and belief had turned a rusted relic into a living miracle. As she floated above the earth, Mia whispered a promise. "I will use this gift wisely. I will explore, I will help, and I will show the world what humans can do." The RV hummed in agreement, its lights glowing brighter. Together they were ready to take the next step, to journey into the unknown and to discover what miracles awaited beyond the sky. Mia sat in the driver's seat of the RV, her heart beating fast with excitement. The morning sky stretched endlessly above her, painted in soft gold and pink. The RV floated smoothly over the ground, humming like a heartbeat that matched her own. She could feel the energy inside it growing stronger every minute. It was ready for something bigger. She took a deep breath, her hands resting on the wheel. "All right," she whispered softly. "Let's see how far we can go." The blue crystal in the dashboard pulsed with light, brighter than ever before. The air inside the cabin felt electric, as if the machine was waiting for her command. She pressed one of the glowing buttons near the center console. The engine sound changed, deeper and more powerful. Outside, the wind began to swirl, lifting dust and leaves into the air. The RV slowly rose higher, first 10 feet, then 20, then 50. Mia looked out of the window, watching the town shrink below her. The buildings looked like small toys, and the roads like thin gray lines. Her hands trembled, but she kept her focus. "Steady," she murmured. The RV responded smoothly, balancing itself in the air. The sky became brighter as she climbed higher and higher. The hum of the RV deepened into a rhythm that sounded almost alive. The crystal in the dashboard glowed steadily, as if guiding her. She had never flown anything before, but somehow, her instincts told her what to do. The machine responded to her touch like it could read her thoughts. She turned the wheel slightly, and the RV glided forward with ease. It felt natural, almost like driving on a smooth, invisible road. As she climbed above the clouds, Mia gasped. The world below was breathtaking. A sea of white clouds stretched in every direction, glowing in the sunlight. The blue curve of the earth shimmered far below. Her heart filled with awe. She whispered to herself, "Humans really can do anything." The RV kept rising. The sky darkened from blue to deep violet, then to black. Stars began to appear, small at first, then brighter and more numerous. Mia had seen stars before, but never like this. From up here, they looked alive, like tiny fires floating in the endless dark. When the RV finally left the atmosphere, everything went silent. No wind, no sound, just the soft hum of the machine and her heartbeat. Mia floated in orbit around Earth. The planet glowed below her, blue and white, wrapped in clouds. It looked fragile, yet full of life. Mia smiled, feeling tears in her eyes. "We did it," she whispered. "We actually did it." The RV adjusted itself automatically, steadying its position. Small panels on its roof opened, revealing tiny thrusters that flickered with blue flames. Mia watched them move, amazed by how smoothly everything worked. She studied the controls again. There were many buttons and lights she had not touched yet. Some symbols looked familiar, but others seemed alien. She remembered the glowing crystal and how it responded to her actions. Maybe it was connected to something more than just the RV. Maybe it had come from somewhere beyond Earth. Curiosity filled her again. She pressed a different button marked with a spiral symbol. The dashboard lights blinked, and the crystal began to glow brighter than ever. The RV vibrated gently, then suddenly shot forward with a burst of energy. Stars blurred outside the windows. Mia gripped the steering wheel tightly. The world around her shifted. It felt as if space itself folded and stretched. The light outside changed color, rippling like waves in water. The feeling lasted only a few seconds, but when it ended, the view outside had completely changed. Mia gasped. She was no longer near Earth. Instead, she floated near a vast ringed planet, glowing gold and white. The rings stretched across the sky like ribbons of light. Small moons circled it quietly. She stared in awe. "How far did we go?" she whispered. She checked the dashboard. The screen showed numbers and patterns she couldn't fully read, but one thing was clear. She was far beyond her home planet. Somehow the RV had made a jump across space. Mia sat back in her seat, amazed and a little scared. She had repaired the RV with her own hands, but she had never imagined it could do this. Her curiosity mixed with excitement. If it could jump once, maybe it could go anywhere. For hours, she explored the system around the ringed planet. She flew past floating rocks, glittering ice fields, and glowing clouds of dust. The RV's sensors detected strange signals, and the crystal pulsed in rhythm with them. It was as if the machine was alive, sensing things beyond human understanding. At one point, Mia saw a small light flickering far away. It looked like a signal or a beacon. She decided to follow it. The RV moved gracefully, its thrusters adjusting with soft bursts of light. As she got closer, the signal grew stronger. Soon she saw what it was, a small ship drifting in space. Its lights were dim, and it looked damaged. Mia's heart filled with concern. "Someone's out there," she said softly. She guided the RV closer. The ship's side was scorched, and parts of its hull were missing. It looked like it had been hit by something. She scanned it using the RV's systems, and the results appeared on her screen. The ship was not human-made aliens. The thought made her nervous but also excited. She had dreamed of meeting beings from other worlds, and now it might actually happen. She activated the RV's communication system and sent a simple signal, a pulse of light in a repeating pattern. To her relief, the damaged ship responded with a weak light pulse. Mia smiled. "So you can understand," she said softly. The RV automatically extended a small docking arm. Mia aligned it carefully and connected to the damaged ship. The moment the connection was secure, a soft blue light filled the cabin. The crystal on her dashboard glowed, and strange symbols appeared on her screen. A voice spoke, not in words but in gentle tones that the RV translated. It sounded surprised and curious. "Who are you? How did you find us?" Mia spoke calmly. "I am Mia. I am from Earth. I saw your ship and came to help." There was silence. For a moment, then the voice answered, "We thought your world had no space travelers." Mia smiled slightly. "We do now," she said proudly. The RV transmitted energy to the alien ship, repairing its systems. Mia watched as the lights on their hull brightened again. Slowly, the ship began to stabilize. The aliens thanked her in their strange, melodic language. Even though she could not understand every word, she could feel their gratitude through tone and light. When the repairs were done, the alien ship drifted beside her RV. One of the aliens appeared on her screen, their face soft and curious. They looked very different from humans, but peaceful. The alien said, "Your machine carries a power we have not seen for centuries. It listens to you. That is rare. Mia looked at the glowing crystal. I fixed it with my hands, she said. It was broken, but I believed I could bring it back. The alien nodded slowly. Then you are more than a mechanic. You are a restorer of life. Machines like this one choose their partners. It trusts you. Mia was speechless for a moment. She looked at the RV with new eyes. She had thought she fixed it, but maybe it had chosen her from the beginning. The aliens offered her a map of nearby star systems as a gift. If you continue your journey, they said, you will find worlds that need your hands and heart. Mia thanked them and wished them safe travels. The alien ship slowly moved away, leaving a trail of light behind. Mia sat quietly, watching it disappear among the stars. Her heart was full. She had just made contact with beings from another world and had helped them. She looked at the blue crystal again. It glowed softly as if pleased. Mia smiled. You and I, she said gently, we're going to do amazing things together. The RV responded with a low, warm hum. She could feel it through the floor and the steering wheel, as if it understood. She looked out at the stars stretching endlessly before her. Each one was a possibility, a mystery waiting to be explored. The Earth was far behind her now, but she did not feel alone. Her machine was alive, and her heart was full of courage. Mia set a new course, guided by the star map the aliens had given her. The RV glided smoothly, the stars shifting outside like rivers of light. For the first time, she truly understood how vast the universe was, and how capable humans could be. She whispered softly, "This is what we were meant for, to explore, to learn, to help, to create." The RV's lights shimmered gently, echoing her words in rhythm. Together, they moved forward into the unknown, leaving behind a trail of blue, light that marked the beginning of a new chapter for humanity. One that began with a mechanic girl, a rusted RV, and an unshakable belief that no machine or dream was ever truly beyond repair. The stars glowed softly through the windows of the RV as Mia sat in the pilot seat. The hum of the machine filled the cabin with a calm rhythm. The blue crystal in the dashboard pulsed with gentle light like a heartbeat. The alien ship she had helped was long gone, leaving her alone once more in the quiet sea of space. Yet she did not feel lonely. She felt alive. Mia looked at the star map the aliens had given her. It showed bright paths between systems, each leading to a different world. Some were marked with symbols she could not read, but she could sense their meaning. A few pulsed faintly as if calling for help. She touched one of the glowing marks and the RV's controls shifted automatically. The ship adjusted its direction, setting a new course. "Let's see who needs a mechanic today," Mia said with a small smile. The RV glided through space smoothly, guided by light and energy. Time passed quietly. Mia watched distant suns and planets drift by. Each world looked different. Some blue and green like Earth, others golden or silver. She felt like an explorer from an old story, traveling not by ship or horse but by the power of her own hands and heart. After some time, the RV slowed near a planet covered with bright green forests and shining lakes. The surface sparkled with light, but the sensors showed signs of trouble. Energy waves from the planet were uneven, rising and falling in strange patterns. Mia could tell something was wrong. She guided the RV into the atmosphere. The view was breathtaking. Tall crystal trees rose from the ground, their branches glowing faintly. Rivers of silver water ran through wide valleys. But as she flew closer, she saw parts of the land darkened and broken. Machines lay abandoned, some smoking, some half buried in soil. It looked like a world once full of life, now struggling to survive. Mia landed the RV in an open field near a ruined structure. When she stepped outside, the air smelled like rain and metal. The ground was soft beneath her boots. She looked around and saw small figures in the distance. They were the planet's people, tall and thin, their skin glowing faintly like moonlight. They looked tired, their eyes dim. Mia walked toward them carefully. They noticed her and stopped working on a broken machine nearby. One of them, who seemed older, stepped forward. His voice was calm but heavy. "You are not from here," he said. Mia nodded. "I came because I saw your signal. I want to help." The old one studied her curiously. "Help?" he repeated. "Our energy cores are dying. Our machines have stopped working. We have tried to fix them, but nothing works anymore. Mia looked at the large machine beside them. It was shaped like a tower, made of silver and crystal. Parts of it were glowing weakly, and others were completely dark. She touched one of the panels and felt the faint pulse of power within. It reminded her of the RV when she had first found it, alive but weak, waiting for care. She smiled softly. Maybe I can fix it. The people watched her silently as she opened her tool bag and began to work. Her hands moved quickly and confidently. She cleaned the dust from the circuits, tightened loose connections, and checked the power lines. The machine was built differently from anything she had seen, but the principles were the same. Energy flowed, gears turned, and systems communicated. Machines had a language, and Mia understood it. Hours passed as she worked. The glowing people gathered around her, whispering to one another. They had never seen someone repair machines by hand. Their own tools were complex, yet they had forgotten how to touch and understand the heart of a machine. When Mia finished reconnecting the final circuit, she stepped back and pressed a small button near the base of the tower. The machine trembled. Light spread across its surface, bright and warm. The energy wave it released rolled across the valley, waking other machines one by one. The air shimmered with power. The people gasped in awe. Their city lights came back to life. The silver rivers brightened. The darkened sky glowed with new color. Mia wiped her forehead and smiled. There, she said softly. It just needed a little care. The old one looked at her with gratitude. How did you do this? He asked. Mia shrugged. Machines are like people. They stop working when they are ignored, but they come alive when you care for them. The people bowed their heads. One of the younger ones said, You fixed what we could not. You brought our world back. Mia smiled kindly. Sometimes it only takes a fresh pair of hands and a little belief. For the next few days, Mia stayed on the planet, teaching the people how to maintain their machines again. She showed them how to listen to the hum of energy, how to sense imbalance, and how to fix small problems before they became big ones. The people learned quickly, their curiosity returning. The world that had once been quiet and broken now thrummed with life again. When it was time to leave, the old one gave her a crystal pendant glowing faintly with silver light. This holds a piece of our gratitude, he said. Wherever you go, may it remind you that even one human can bring life to many worlds. Mia accepted it with respect. Thank you, she said. I will never forget this place. Back in the RV, she hung the pendant near the dashboard. It swung gently beside the blue crystal, their lights blending into a calm glow. She started the engine and the RV rose into the sky once more. As she left the planet's atmosphere, she looked down at the shining forests and rivers below. The world was alive again and she felt proud. Her journey continued. The star map guided her to another glowing mark. This time the RV entered a system with 3 suns and several small planets. One of them sent out irregular energy signals, much like the first world. Mia followed the trail and landed near a vast ocean where cities floated on water. The people of this world were different, small and round, with bright orange eyes and smooth skin that reflected the sunlight. Their floating city was falling apart. The machines that kept their platforms stable were failing. Some platforms had already sunk beneath the waves. Mia could see the worry in their faces. She met their leader, a cheerful being named Koro, who looked tired but hopeful. Koro said, Our repair teams have failed. The ocean is eating our homes. Can you help us, traveler from the stars? Mia nodded without hesitation. I will try. The RV hovered beside one of the damaged platforms. Mia stepped out, examining the machinery. Rusted bolts, broken engines, clogged filters. It was all familiar to her. It reminded her of the first day she had seen the rusted RV. She felt the same determination. She began to work, using tools from her bag and spare parts from the RV. The aliens watched curiously as she repaired connections and replaced broken metal. She explained each step in simple words, showing them how to do it themselves. Her patience and skill inspired them. Days passed as Mia moved from one platform to another, restoring stability to each part of the city. The people helped her, learning from her every move. Together they rebuilt their homes. When the last platform was secured, Koro stood beside her, looking at the sunset over the ocean. You have saved us, Koro said. We will not forget your kindness. Mia smiled, watching the light dance on the waves. I only did what humans do best, she replied. We fix things. We find a way when others give up. Koro nodded, his eyes glowing warmly. You humans have strong hearts. You do not stop even when the world says you should. Before she left, Koro gave her a small metal ring etched with ocean symbols. This is made from our first city's foundation. Carry it with you, traveler. Mia accepted it gratefully and returned to the RV. She placed the ring beside the crystal and pendant. Each item was a memory, a reminder of what she had accomplished and who she had helped. As the RV left the ocean world, Mia thought about what the aliens had said. Humans had strong hearts. She liked that thought. Maybe that was why she had found the RV in the first place. Maybe it had chosen her because she refused to give up. She looked out at the stars, smiling softly. There is still more to do, she whispered. There are still worlds to help. The RV hummed gently, agreeing with her unspoken thought. Its lights glowed brighter as it set a new course into the unknown. The stars stretched before her like endless paths, and she knew she would follow them wherever they led. The rusted RV that once sat forgotten in a junkyard was now a beacon of hope among the stars. And the girl who bought it with her last dollar had become a symbol of human courage and creativity, proof that even the smallest spark could light up the universe. The stars stretched endlessly in front of the rusted RV as it moved silently through space. Inside, Mia sat at the controls, watching the lights flicker across the dashboard. The blue crystal pulsed with a calm rhythm, matching her heartbeat. Hanging beside it were the gifts she had received from different worlds. The glowing silver pendant from the crystal planet and the small metal ring from the ocean world. They swung gently as the RV drifted forward. Mia smiled as she looked at them. Each one reminded her of the people she had helped and the lives she had touched. Every world she had visited had taught her something new. She had seen strange creatures, advanced machines, and cities that floated among the stars. But no matter where she went, the same truth remained clear. Every being, no matter how different, shared the same hope to live, build, and create. The RV's sensors suddenly beeped softly. A new signal appeared on the map. It came from a distant system at the edge of the known galaxy. The signal was weak and fading, but it pulsed in a pattern that reminded Mia of a heartbeat. She frowned slightly, curious. Another world in trouble, she said quietly. Let's go find out. The RV changed course smoothly. Outside the window, the stars shifted. Space seemed to twist as the ship jumped into faster travel. Mia rested back in her chair, thinking about how far she had come. She had once been a poor mechanic with a dream, holding only a few tools and $1. Now she was flying across the galaxy in a machine she had saved with her own hands. After some time, the RV slowed near a dark gray planet. There was no glow from cities or energy fields, only dim clouds swirling in the atmosphere. The scanners showed that the planet's surface was covered with dust and broken structures. It looked abandoned, but the weak signal still blinked from somewhere below. Mia guided the RV through the clouds and landed near the source of the signal. The air outside was dry and silent. Broken towers rose from the ground, their metal frames twisted and half buried in sand. She stepped out of the RV carefully, wearing a breathing mask. The wind carried fine dust that shimmered faintly in the pale light. As she walked through the ruins, she heard a faint mechanical sound. Following it, she found a small robot lying beside a fallen pillar. Its body was covered in scratches and rust, but one eye still glowed faintly. It turned its head slowly when it saw her. System damaged, it said in a weak robotic voice. Requesting assistance, Mia knelt beside it gently. I can help you, she said kindly. She opened her tool bag and began repairing its circuits. The robot systems were very old, but she could tell it had once been built with great care. After a while, the robot's lights brightened, and it slowly stood up on its small metal legs. Power restored, it said softly. Thank you, traveler, Mia smiled. Who built you? What happened to this place? The robot looked around slowly, its voice filled with something that sounded like sadness. This world was once a great city of builders. We created machines, ships, and knowledge to share with the galaxy. But one day our energy cores failed. We tried to repair them, but we lost the skill. The people left to find other homes, and I remained to keep the memory alive. My power was fading until you came. Mia felt a quiet ache in her heart. You stayed here all this time alone? Yes, said the robot. I waited for someone who could fix what we could not. Mia looked at the broken city. The machines were silent, their designs beautiful but lifeless. She walked toward the center where a large tower stood half buried in sand. The robot followed her slowly. This tower, it said, was once the heart of our city. It powered everything, but its energy source was lost long ago. Mia examined the base of the tower. It was similar to the machines she had repaired before, but much larger. She opened a panel and saw old circuits, some broken, some still faintly glowing. Maybe it can still work, she said softly. If I can give it a spark, it might wake up again. For hours she worked patiently. She cleaned dust, repaired wires, and reconnected power nodes. The robot watched silently, its single glowing eye reflecting the soft light from her tools. Mia hummed quietly as she worked, the same tune she had hummed back when she repaired the RV for the first time. At last, she connected the final wire and stepped back. "All right," she said. "Let's see if you still remember how to live." She pressed a small switch on the control panel. The tower shuddered. A deep vibration filled the ground. Light began to spread slowly from its base, climbing higher and higher until the entire structure was glowing. Energy waves rolled across the dusty city, reaching every corner. Machines flickered awake one by one. The air shimmered as the wind changed direction. For the first time in ages, the planet breathed again. The robot turned to her, its voice full of wonder. "You did it. You brought life back to our world." Mia smiled softly, watching the lights spread across the horizon. "I didn't bring it back," she said. "It was always here. It just needed someone to believe it could work again." As the tower continued to hum with power, the robot looked up at the sky. "The builders will return one day," it said. "They will see that their city lives again because of you." Mia nodded. "Tell them to keep building and never forget how to care for what they make." The robot bowed slightly. "You are unlike anyone I have met. You fix what others abandon. You bring hope where there is none." Mia touched the robot's metal shoulder gently. "That's what humans do best. We never stop trying." After a while, Mia returned to the RV. As she looked back at the glowing city, she felt warmth in her chest. She knew that the builders, wherever they were, would one day see the light of their home shining again. Inside the RV, the crystals and pendants reflected the light from the revived planet. The blue crystal in the dashboard glowed brighter than ever. Mia placed her hands on the controls. "Let's go," she said softly. "There are more worlds out there." But as the RV began to rise, something unexpected happened. A transmission came through the communication system. It was a signal from the Galactic Council, a group of explorers and scientists from many worlds. The message said, "Unknown traveler, your actions have been seen across several systems. You have repaired dying worlds and restored forgotten machines. We wish to meet you." Mia blinked in surprise. "Me?" she whispered. She looked at the gifts hanging beside the dashboard. Each one represented a story, a world, a miracle. Maybe her small acts had reached farther than she thought. The council's message gave coordinates to a great station that floated between the stars. Mia guided the RV toward it. The journey took several days, and she spent the time thinking about what she would say. She had never wanted fame or reward. She only wanted to fix things, to make broken worlds whole again. When the RV finally arrived, the station came into view. It was huge, shining with golden light, surrounded by ships from many species. As Mia landed the RV in a docking area, she saw beings of all shapes and colors waiting for her. Some had wings, some had scales, and some looked almost human. They all looked curious and respectful. Mia stepped out slowly, feeling a little nervous but calm. A tall figure with gentle eyes stepped forward. "You are the human mechanic," the figure said kindly. "The one who turns rust into life," Mia smiled shyly. "I just fix what I can." The figure nodded. "You have done more than that. You reminded us of something we had forgotten. We build machines, but we stopped caring for them. You showed us that care and patience are the true strength of creation." Mia looked around at the crowd. "Anyone can do what I did," she said. "You only need to believe that nothing is truly broken if you try to fix it." The crowd murmured softly, moved by her words. The tall figure raised a hand. "From this day," the figure said, "let it be known that a human from a small world reminded the galaxy of hope." Applause filled the hall. Beings from many species bowed their heads to her. Mia felt her heart swell with quiet pride. Later, back in the RV, she looked out the window at the stars once more. The galaxy was vast and endless, full of mysteries and broken things waiting to be fixed. She rested her hands on the old rusted control wheel that had started it all. "You were never just a machine," she said softly to the RV. You are my friend." The RV hummed gently, as if answering her. Mia smiled. "Let's keep going," she whispered. "There are always more worlds to help." The RV's engines lit up, glowing brighter than ever. The ship rose smoothly and drifted into the starry sea. Behind her, the great station shone like a beacon of light. Ahead of her, countless stars waited. The girl who had once spent her last dollar on a rusted RV was now a legend across the stars. But to her, it was never about fame or reward. It was about faith, faith in her hands, in her heart, and in the simple truth that humans, no matter how small, could change the universe with kindness, skill, and belief. And so the mechanic girl and her faithful RV continued their journey, leaving trails of light behind them, a reminder that miracles are not made by magic but by human hands that refuse to give up.